Coming to you every week from no place in particular. This is the Forever Road podcast featuring Bosco. He's a music lover, a historian, and a connoisseur of the obscure. Find us on some great platforms like iHeart, Spotify, and even more as we keep growing. Now, pointed down the Forever Road, here's Bosco.
Turn your mic on.
Well, how about that? Let me try this again. Welcome to the best worst thing you've never seen. This is Bosco. Join me again is Brother Turtle. Happy Sunday evening, everyone. Sunday evening as we record this for our listeners. December 8th. What in the world? December 8th, 19. Uh-oh.
Turns his mic on and loses his camera.
What happened to my camera? Hang on.
Sense how ugly you are. Yeah, what happened to your camera?
I don't know, man. It don't even show it's getting power over there. Let me see.
Oh, check your USB port. Plug it back in. Ew.
Yeah, that's my camera right there. It was on a second ago, wasn't it?
Unfortunately, I mean, yes. Well, folks, I don't know what to tell you other than Bosco decided he did not want to be seen today.
Don't look at me. I'm hideous.
We knew that already, but we still come back to see you again.
So awesome. Why do I have this much? I mean, everything was fine.
Everything was fine until you went live. We need to hire some college kid to come do all this for us. Set up in one office like the pros do it. Yay, nay, anybody in chat?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Almost. Come on, camera. When we went live, it went dead.
That's okay. I don't
You're
think
here.
anybody's in here anyway.
Right.
Hello. You know I had to do it sometime. I'm just still trying to figure out why your camera went out. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clear as day. 5x5. 24/7.
Let's see.
Can't see you. There he is.
There we go.
You hit the right button finally.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, we'll try this again. Hey, everybody. For those who are listening, don't have anybody in the chats quite yet, but we are here. Welcome to Forever Road Podcast. I'm Bosco. That is Turtle once again. The God Turtle, Brother Turtle, just Turtle.
Today's just Turtle.
And you are you, I guess, whoever is out there. So December 8th is one of those days, man, in music history anyway. And in my personal life. So, but how's the last week been going, man? I know we game a lot and we talk about a lot of things, but
pretty chill. Lay
yeah.
back. Just relaxing. Going with the flow. Missing that trash can.
No, I made it. That's
made it the second time though. Right. Who believes him, chat? Who believes him?
If you believe I made it, put a 1. If you believe I didn't make it, put a 1.
put a vote over there in the chat box area thing with the stuff. Yeah.
Or what is that? What is it? A brick? Put a brick down if I didn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I've been trying
to puff of air if he missed it. Yep.
Yeah, I know we're running kind of late today. I did some live from a little bit of live from the Allman Brothers Band Museum earlier, and from Rose Hill Cemetery, over there where Greg Allman is buried. Because today, in December 8th, 1947, Gregory Lenoir Allman was born. And also today, and I can't remember how old he is.
28.
You think so?
Yeah, he's 28. He's 28. We'll go with 28. He's a youngin'.
Let's see.
Yep.
Well, first off, let me give a shout out to a very special friend of mine. Her daughter that I've known for, not her daughter, but her I've known for a very long time. Very special friend of mine. I've gotten very close with her husband as well. He's pretty cool. My friend Sarah, their daughter Emily turned 24 tomorrow. So, happy birthday, WWII, as they call her, WWII. And since we're waiting on an answer from somebody about something, I'll skip on. As everyone knows, yesterday, my camera is not centered. There we go. I'm looking over here like this. So it's hard to do to turn my head. December 7, 1941, the United States was maliciously and deliberately attacked by the Empire of Japan. That's all I could pull straight off of memory. I don't remember the whole speech, but As we all know, it's a day that will live in infamy, but, what, Pearl Harbor Day? What do they call it? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know what they call it. I has not an idea.
A day that will live in infamy. Not to say not to get political or anything like that, but I'll just say this: that say what you want to, but I think Roosevelt was not a very good president, and for things that happened prior to World War II, but seeing us through halfway through World War II, leading us from that point on, however far he did. December 7, 1941, the Imperial Japanese Navy conducted an aerial assault on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor, destroying USS Arizona. And then we immediately declared war on Japan. So we were fighting war on two fronts. Over in Europe and the front down in Japan. That's what brought us into World War II. Did they call it World War II at the time?
Yeah, it was already World War II.
Okay.
We weren't necessarily fighting over in Europe yet.
Yeah.
D-Day era, December 7th was what brought us into both sides.
Yeah, because up until that point, we're in the Great Depression.
We were neutral.
Yeah. But unfortunately, that World War II brought us out of the Great Depression. And
war pays money.
It boosted the economy. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but
we got paid by foreign nations to come help fight. And then when Japan attacked us, we started losing money.
We're like, oh, all right, here we come.
You poked the wrong bear. Ain't no panda.
Working a sleeping giant.
Yep. They said.
The attack resulted in deaths of over 2,403 service members, wounded 1,178 more, and sank or destroyed 6 U.S. ships. Don't mess with America's boats.
Yeah, don't touch our boat.
Yeah. Gonna touch the butt. No,
don't touch our boats.
Don't do that.
Those little terrorists found out when they ran into the side of the USS Cole.
Yep.
Over in the Red Sea in the early 2000s. Yeah. No shots were fired my ass.
Mm-hmm.
There's over 11,000 rounds missing off of that ship. And they never found that boat because it's at the bottom of the Red Sea.
That's right. So, as we approach, this is 80 years ago, over 80 years, well, less than 80. 41 to, yeah. Over 80 years ago. And, the last of that generation is on way up there in age now. So, yeah, anytime you see I ain't gonna say old guy, a service member walk around wearing that WWII hat and he's barely shuffling through Walmart, or more than likely he's easing that big old Cadillac into that spot, man, just have a little patience, dude.
Yep. Move.
Just
move out the way.
Move out the way or help him.
Yep. Move out the way.
He at one time was more badass than you'll ever be in your entire life. So, we give thanks and much thought.
He's worn more metal on his chest than you've ever driven.
For real. Just imagine. Never mind. I ain't gonna get into that. Imagine what you can't never imagine what anybody's been through. You can't unless you've been there. You know. Imagine what those guys been through just hanging out in the beach. It's Christmas break, right? Just hanging out trying to get some sun. Suddenly things are blowing up and yeah. So no ma'am. Sorry, I got a dog over here hollering at me off screen. What do you want?
You gotta go potty.
Probably does. My older dog. So anyway, yeah, December 7th, 1941, a day we will live in infamy, brought us into World War II. So we had to go in there and kick the Nazis' asses. And ultimately had to go fight against the Germans as well.
Oh, yeah, because they're not the Nazis.
I mean, Nazis and then Japan as well. Sorry, I was looking at my phone at the same time trying to talk. Damn. Thank you. Excuse me for 1 second. She's gonna sit there and whine the whole time.
Might as well pick her up. Might as well love on her.
It's the bigger one.
I might as well pick her up and love on her.
Come on.
Oh, dear God.
Lord have mercy. Okay. I'm back.
I'm breathing heavy. Let's go.
I knew if I sat there with the door open the entire time, she's going to sit there and whine.
Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
Just kind of in the scatter. Once I started, I forgot to shut my door, forgot to let her out. I came home, I ate something, I tried to get everything arranged and get this set up. And my crammer quit working. Oh, it's a day. So, we're rolling along now.
Yes.
Okay. Where are we at? Anyway, so I'll move on. Frank Cicelese also has a birthday today.
28.
28. We're going with 28. Now, anyway, this guy, he means a lot to me, and I'll say that. A very happy birthday to him. I didn't give him a shout out till just now because I was trying to wait on something, but it's all right. He was also born today. I believe he was born in New Jersey. Several years later, I got to meet him, and he's a father of a old buddy of mine, which I met when I was on Jones County Fire Rescue with his son, Jamie. And I met him, hanging out with Jamie, obviously, go to his house, hang out, stuff like that. Eat dinner, and we got talking about cars, and he's a Mopar nut, just like I am. One day I'd love to have him on here. I don't know about going live, but just going and recording something to post later. I probably will do that. But picking his brain and hearing about the old car days back in the heyday of, he's a good guy to pick, if you're stuck on something, you want to call him up and say, hey man, I'm working on this idea here, and he'll tell you if it'll work or not. He used to pick on me about after me cutting my hair. I used to have long hair. Believe it or not.
Sure.
And now he has long hair.
Dang hippies.
He has a plethora of automotive knowledge, and especially when it comes to old Mopars. You know, like I said, one day I'd love to have him on here to tell those old stories, because if we don't get those old stories down on record, or somebody recording them, they're going to be lost. So, to me, I think it's important to get that stuff down. But yeah, so happy birthday to Frank Cicelese. Thank you very much for always being there, having an ear, especially when it comes to automotive stuff. And he actually invited me to his house for Christmas. He invited me over there, sent me a message yesterday or the day before, telling me he was going to be home on Christmas, asked me what my plans was. I said I didn't have any, which, not putting this really out there, but a whole lot. But as many of you know, I've just went through my second divorce. So things are changing. Not as far as this podcast goes, not as far as putting out stuff every week. We're approaching our third season. January, the first weekend of January will be our season 3, episode 1. We've been here for almost 3 seasons, and thank you. I can't thank y'all enough. I don't pay attention a whole lot to the demographics. I don't pay attention a whole lot to the analytics, rather. As far as how many views I get, how many likes I get, who's subscribing here, there, everywhere. But either way, I know that it's being done, and I can't help but thank y'all enough. You know, as we're kind of approaching the end of our second season, I know I've had people, come and go. We've had a few, for lack of a better term, personnel changes. And, grateful for them being here as well. I've been associated with a few other podcasts. I'm very grateful for the support that I get from those other guys on those other podcasts. They don't have anything to do with what we talk about, but they still show the love and respect, to Forever Road, with Forever Road, because they like what I do. So, me being grassroots here without a sponsor, without no, I paid for this. The laptop here I'm using was gifted to me. The website set up, all the Facebook, and the Instagram work I do myself. I'm still grateful for every follow, every like, every share. And I still put this out here. I'm not here I'm not here without y'all. So everybody that I personally know, thank you very much. Everybody that I don't personally know that comes on here and clicks the likes, and sometimes they all are in the chats. Most of the time I see a couple people in the chats. This time, I'm very grateful. So we're going to keep on doing this thing. I still got plenty of other ideas and stuff that we're going to come across and share our stories and our experiences and our music taste and whatever Turtle's into.
We can't put that stuff on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Well, never mind. We can't put that on YouTube. I guess that's the other website, y'all.
Yeah. Onlydads.com. No, don't go to that one either. Just joking. We don't know those people.
But I mean, I'd sit here and give just a quick shout out, like if it wasn't for listening to the Kibby and Friends show, Rob Kibby, Bernie, Daniel Atkinson, y'all remember him? He'll probably be on here again. I'm pretty sure I know he will, but that support from those guys. Got dudes over at Failure to Stop. One morning I'm out of here. Chief Jason Kiefer and everybody else that y'all are listening. thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, And as I change, I know the background here is going to change. I might have to start packing up here soon. Matter of fact, tomorrow, because we're going to sell this house, I'm going to try to find me another spot to land at and keep going. Like the old song, "The Road Goes On Forever." The Midnight Rider, "The Road Goes On Forever." That's where I got the Forever Road podcast. I said that earlier, but that's where I got the name from. So the bottom of my heart, again, we go on. We'll keep. Right now, my eyes are set on season 3. And we'll keep going as long as y'all are here, liking and subscribing and watching, and I invite y'all, if y'all have a topic or something like that, you got an old vehicle you want me to do some research on and cover. You got, even if you're a listener and you want to, if you want to come on here, you got some old automotive stories. If you have some music stories, and man, y'all used to play in a band, and this is the kind of music I used to cover. Bring it. Tell me your story. I think it'd be awesome. I'd like to bring on. I have an idea of bringing on more of you guys that are out there. If you have a story you want to tell, especially music, especially automotive, I want to be more with the closing of Roadkill that did in the last couple of weeks from the Discovery Channel, Discovery Plus, whatever they call it now. It's got me thinking about putting more of the word out there of the support of getting in the garage and turning wrenches. Grassroots in the shop with your dad and a cold beer or 12. Being a mechanic, listening to putting music on in the shop, and what music are you listening to? Do you get down with alternative rock while you're turning wrenches, or do you get down with some blues, some Steve Ray Vaughan in the shop?
What company tools you use? You a
Yeah.
Milwaukee man? You a DeWalt man?
Snap-on, Matco, Mac.
Oh, no. He said we're talking about regular mechanics, not rich ones.
Oh, I ain't rich. I got Snap-on.
Yeah, but you worked for a dealership where you had access to good paycheck and decent paycheck.
Decent.
We'll go with that.
But that's to me, that craft is dying off and getting strangled by the powers that be slowly but surely. And if we don't really put a fight in out there on that, and make a stance, hey, because that's how I started turning wrenches. I said it before, we didn't have money growing up.
Nope.
I had hey man, I'm gonna take my truck to my mechanic and let him work on it. No, my daddy and my uncles were the mechanics in the family.
Yep.
They were the ones that say, hey, we got, if I don't get my truck fixed, I can't go to work, and therefore I can't pay the house note. So this craft and this skill set is very important. Like what I do, I'm a truck mechanic, and it's beginning to be a thing that's dying off due to whatever reasons. I don't know. Wokeness.
Everybody needs to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
It was better when we were still dreaming. That's a new rock song right there. Watch. Somebody's going to write it.
Somebody needs to.
Everything was better. Everything was better when we were still dreaming.
Yeah,
It's going to happen.
woke. I had
it's
this
going to be a
happen
millennial. It's going to be a millennial that writes it. Watch.
I had this happen today. No lie. I went up to Macon, and I was in this kind of a rich part. I stopped at the store to get something to drink, and I parked beside this, I don't know, Tesla something, and I could see the people. You know, you could tell not hipster, not even millennial. What do they call them now?
Yuppies.
Yeah. And, you know, I pull up there in my jacked up Dodge truck. It's, you know, I hop out and I get this look. And I said, "How you doing?" And I walked into the store. And they walked in behind me. As we got out, I, you know, hit the key on my truck. You could just tell, like, this look of, "I can't believe you," you know. And then they got in their little electric, I don't know, scooter or whatever hell it's called. And, you know, just getting this look down your, don't look down your nose at me, buddy. But it's, you know, I don't know. Like my truck will be paid for here soon. You used to be paying on yours in 10 years. But anyway, rant's over as far as that goes.
Yeah. Snobs.
Oh, for real, man. Snobs. You know. Oh, Lord, she would have loved my 94 Ram, huh?
Yeah. That thing smokes more than my grandmother did.
No, I ain't talking about that. They don't even smoke, but I'm talking about
I'm joking. I know. I had to come help get the motor in it.
I'm talking about the glass packs.
Might as well go straight pipe.
My neighbor, that's what it is basically. My neighbor over here, she said, "I know every morning when you take that truck," and she pointed at my 94. She said, "Because you wake me up." I'm sorry. I said, "Well, you won't have to worry about it too much longer." We're moving. I'm moving. You know, we're gonna put the house on the market and we'll sell the place, and I'm gonna get on somewhere else. Hopefully, I can find me a place with some land. Build me a garage mahal.
Yeah.
A shop home. Half my house is a shop, half of it's the house.
It's 2-story, but the whole bottom floor is nothing but garage space.
Right.
Lit lifts and everything. It's like 15-foot tall ceilings. Big roll up doors.
Yeah.
And then the house is on the second floor.
I have to seal the whole bottom of so the exhaust fumes won't get upstairs.
Concrete. That way your whole second floor is stable.
Concrete, the second floor?
Build a box. Your whole downstairs where your garage is one big concrete box, and then you would build a house over the top of it. You do it all the time. There's so many different ideas.
Yeah. I like to find an old shop somewhere and just buy it and back a camper into the shop, and boom, here I am.
Hello. Find an old barn that you can renovate.
Yep.
Those are perfect for shops. I see people leave cars in them for 70 years.
Yeah.
They pull them out, wash them down, do an oil change. Good.
Some plugs.
Yeah.
Plugs, wires, oil change.
Hoses as well. And tires.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes gaskets.
Maybe
sometimes hoses. Too. Yeah. Definitely filters. All the filters.
But so moving along here, like I said, thank y'all very much. And if you're really getting interested, man, get out there in that shop, do some turning on some wrenches, you know. And if you are out there in the shop, shoot me an email. DM me on Instagram, Forever Road Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Forever Road Podcast at gmail.com. Let me know what you're working on. You know, let me know what kind of music you're listening to. So silicone and tetraglass. That's what we use. That's what we use at work. Marine's Blood's in the chats. Hey there. I don't even realize how long has he been in there
since he got here. Sorry, I don't have my applause button yet. So, yay.
But I haven't got any updates on my personal projects yet. I'm still looking for a transmission for my 87 Ram, which I think I got it figured out. Maybe looking for a Charger or Challenger with a manual transmission to grab the transmission out of it. I think I'm gonna go manual on my 87 D100. Yeah, manual transmission behind that 360. Yeah.
Let's see what breaks first.
Now I found a guy who's got a 90 model. It needs an engine, but it has a good transmission and rear end, and the rear end's a locker. I was like, ooh. But he wants $2,000 for the whole truck. If I buy that 90 model, then I'm gonna get rid of this one here.
I got a welder I'll trade you for.
We ain't going down that rabbit hole again.
No, I'm not allowed to have it in my yard.
Mm-mm.
We already had to do a deal. I got a welder. Another welder that I don't know how to use.
Stick welder, yeah. So if anybody wants to buy a stick welder, Turtle's got one for sale. It's a Hobart, if that helps any. It's a good welder. Or it used to be mine.
That's how he got his truck back.
Yep. So, all right, here we go. Yeah, I'm going to let him tell his lady that.
No. If it ain't another motorcycle, I don't want it. If it ain't another motorcycle, I don't want it. I gotta get to the mouse.
So, Gregory Lenoir Allman, born December 8th, 1947, passed away May 27th, 2017. As a matter of fact, I was at your house that day.
Yep, that's correct.
Trying to help you put a muffler on your Mini or something like that. Why don't we try to put a muffler on your?
No, I think we were standing around talking about it.
Well, I had
that fart can.
And I had Bandit too.
Yep.
He was a little bitty thing.
Yeah, he was.
Lead singer, American singer-songwriter Gregory Lenoir Allman. Born in December 8th, 1947, Nashville, Tennessee. Passed away at his Richmond Hill, Georgia home, May 27, 2017. His father Willis, and everybody in affectionately known her called her Mama A. Geraldine Robbins Allman. She passed away in 2015. Willis Turner Allman would be murdered in 1949 on leave. He was in the U.S. Army. We'll get to that. And as everybody knows, like I've talked about before, his brother, by 1 year and 18 days later, older than he was, Dwayne Allman, was killed in an accident October 29th, 1971. But matter of fact, so earlier today I went kind of meandering through Macon, went to the Allman Brothers Band Museum to pay my respects and spend some money at the gift shop. If you
a little too much money.
Actually, I got some money back. So
I know, that's why I was joking.
Oh man, it's out there in the truck, isn't it?
Yep. Oh well. Here he goes. Squirrel.
Yeah, I left it in the truck.
Yeah.
So, if y'all ever around through Macon, Georgia, please, I really implore you, go by the big house. There's a house that they we'll have to do another like full-on podcast episode. Me, you. We go to other few places around Macon.
The Rookery. Oh.
Yeah. The Rookery.
Prime Rig.
Grant's
Burger.
Lounge.
Oh, Grant's Lounge. They have a cold beer. And then while we're down there, we got to go to the Hummingbird.
Oh, Lord. Who's driving then?
What do you mean, who's driving?
We get Connor to do it. Get Bubba to do it.
He can't.
Yeah, he can. He's 21.
No, I know. He'll be buying all the drinks. Duh.
You ain't going to drink with me?
No, I'm going to drink too. He's buying them, though. That's what I'm saying.
He'll be the DD.
Not if he's 21, he ain't.
Yeah, he is. Because
we'll get us an 18-year-old. That way they can't drink. Anyway.
Anyhow, so don't know anybody I trust to actually drive what I own. So
I got that taken care of.
So over 40-something years of music writing and playing is behind Gregory Allman. Early life, like I said, 1949, his father would be shot and killed. His father, Willis, would be shot and killed. So let me briefly hit that point. Greg was born at St. Thomas Hospital in Nashville, Tennessee, to Mama A. and Willis Turner Allman. He was in World War II. He was home on leave during Christmas break. And they were at a pool hall, shooting pool, drinking, or whatever. And he offered a ride to this guy named, and this is, remember this part, Robert Buddy Green. Michael Robert Buddy Green. I'll get it right here in a second.
Uh-oh.
He shot and killed him during an armed robbery. They were in Norfolk, Virginia. Like I said, he was on leave. He was home on leave. And he told the guys to give him a ride home, and as they're riding around or whatever, he pulls out a gun. They pull over to the side of the road, and he's got him holding him at gunpoint, and how people are. They hang on there, buddy, or something like that. Well, Willis says, hang on, buddy. Ain't nobody got to get hurt here. He said, well, now I have to kill you now because you know my name. He didn't know his name was Buddy. He was just saying, hang on, buddy. So Willis's army buddy, and I don't remember his name. He takes off. Both of them take off. And Willis, they're taking off, trying to run from the guy. The guy shoots Willis in the back, kills him. He actually ended up, he got captured, convicted, and sentenced. For killing Robert Buddy Green or Michael, whatever the guy's name is. It doesn't matter. So Mama A, Geraldine, they called her Jerry too. So Geraldine Allman moved from Nashville to Daytona Beach. She puts herself through school, raising 2 kids to be a CPA. And
that's when the brothers
boys.
I was going to say that's when the brothers got sent to Castle Heights Military Academy.
Yep. Put them through Castle Heights Military School because at the time they required nurses or people going to college to live on campus. So she put her boys through military school. And remember, at the time, she's a single mom. She never remarried. She stayed single from 49 all the way to 2015. There's probably a couple suitors here and there, I can remember one story that Greg tells, as he's growing up and all, when he was a little kid, he'd be hanging out with his buddy or whatever, schoolmates, and dude would be like, around 5:30, 6 o'clock, some gorilla would come home pushing the kid around, and he's like, "Who's that?" He goes, "Well, that's my daddy." And Greg was like, "Huh, okay." You don't know what you. I don't know what you. Sorry, dude. Yeah. That's my daddy. Oh, I don't have one of those.
What's that feel
and
like?
He go.
Mama said he went to go get milk.
Yeah. So you don't miss what you don't have. You don't miss what you don't know. I can think that's how do you put that? You don't know it to miss it. Yeah. So Dwayne, being even a year and 18 days older, he still called Greg Babe Bruh, and he looked out for him. Dwayne was more of the protective type over Greg, and still at the same time, from the stories I've heard, that Dwayne was a little bit of a bully to Greg as well, which, brothers can do that. So to not send them to the orphanage, she sent the boys to military school. Put himself through as he was going through school. He developed an interest in medicine. Not gotten into music yet, but I will note that at the age of 8 or so, somewhere in there, matter of fact, it was Greg that picked up the guitar before Dwayne.
Yep.
Greg taught Dwayne some notes. This neighbor Jimmy had a guitar, and one of those cheap, whatever guitars back in the day.
Silvertone.
Was it a Silvertone? I knew that.
That's what Greg bought.
Yeah. So after that, he learned how to play the chords from Jimmy, and he went home and sold his motorcycle in for a guitar. And Dwayne did the same thing. And they moved back to Nashville on their, when their mom graduated, and then they moved to Daytona. You recall two events, and I mentioned one of them at one point when they went to watching. They went to some concerts, and they saw BB King at one point. I think this may have been later on. Yeah,
it was in 1960.
So, yeah. Jimmy Baines was the intellectually disabled neighbor of his grandmother in Nashville. So he worked as a paper boy. After this, he worked as a paper boy to afford a Silvertone guitar. And he's left-handed, played guitar right-handed. They would play, and they would fight over who got to play the guitar enough. They joined a YMCA group called the Y Teens. And he and Dwayne later returned to Castle Heights in their teen years when they formed the band. They formed a band called the Misfits. Not to be confused with the other. They were the OG Misfits.
Yeah.
Even after all this, he still felt lonesome and out of place. He went back to Daytona to pursue his music career even further. Formed another band called the Shufflers. Attended high school at Seabreeze High School. He graduated in 1965. He graduated. Dwayne quit. Dwayne was trying to talk Greg in. Well, you know what we're going to do with the rest of our lives? And Greg would go, well, listen, man. You know, the Beatles had just come out. And, you know, no pun, but everybody in the damn Brothers got a band. You know, and back then, from what all the research I've done over the years, back in the late 60s and all that, everybody, if you were in high school and you listened to if you were into any kind of music, and everybody had to try to have a band. I mean, even Leonard Skinner before they became Leonard Skinner. You know, Marshall Tucker Band did the same thing. Charlie Daniels Band was, you know, he was in a session player. We all know about Hank Jr. He grew up in music. But the regular people, I think me and my buddies even tried to have a band in school while we were in school. We wanted to be rock stars anyway. Heavily influenced by Leonard Skinner and
I always wanted to be a manager. I knew they made all the money.
Yeah. Turner had the better idea. I want to be the road manager.
Well, you got to remember who I was raised by. My father's oldest brother was into audio and visual sound studio stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was a radio DJ in Dallas Fort Worth area. So, I mean, he was always into that stuff. So I was always around that side of music production. And you always see the managers in and out with the nice suits, the nice Ferraris and shit like that. So right. I knew where the money was at.
So from 60 to 68, you know, they began going around different areas at Daytona Beach, which if anybody ever gets a chance to go down to Daytona, seriously, yeah. As far as the parts of Daytona that I saw, I seen the Harley Davidson place down in Daytona. It's awesome.
Bruce Rossmeyer. Oh,
yes, sir.
The largest Harley Davidson dealership in the world.
It is a awesome thing to see in person.
It's a museum.
Let me get my house and all this, my housing situated, things situated. Then I'll get me a motorcycle. I've got a bead on a Road King.
I got a bead on a 94 Ultra Classic Electric Glide.
Nice.
Really cheap too.
We'll talk off the air, off of camera about that.
It ran the last time it was parked.
Is that the one in your garage?
Yeah.
So
I gotta get that one out of there to work on the iron head. Hurry up, buy it. Let's go.
I don't know how much you want for it.
We'll
Get them on
offline.
record, everybody.
We'll talk offline. For you, it's a different deal. You know that.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I'll sell it to you really cheap.
I trade your truck for it.
I knew that was coming. Not happening, sir. My bike has a motor and transmission.
I got a motor for the truck.
Yeah, but you don't have a transmission.
And a drive shaft.
It doesn't have the possibility of moving right now. The bike does.
Yeah, you're right. I just figured it was funny.
It was completely hilarious. I enjoyed it. Fun. I was waiting for it. I was like, he's going to say the fucking truck. He's going to say the truck. He's going to say the truck.
Hang on.
No. You can tell him I said the same thing. Yeah.
So this guy that I'm going to mention next is wow.
Better view. Oh, there it is.
Guy that I'm going to talk about next is somebody I actually met him and later on met his son. I ended up working with his son while I was delivering pizza. Floyd Miles.
Good old Floyd.
I met a man named Floyd Miles in Daytona, and they began jamming with his band, the House Rockers. I studied on how he phrased his songs, how he got the words out, and how the other guys sang along with him. The boys would form their first band, the Escorts. It was more of a pop and R&B. Perform a mix of top 40 and R&B music at clubs around town.
Cover band.
Yeah. Dwayne would good Lord. Dwayne would actually run local lead vocals at the time. And then he encouraged Greg to sing. Greg had a much better voice. If anybody's ever heard Dwayne, there's one song. Ooh. There's one song that I know of that Dwayne done called no, two. I'm gonna buy me a car. And another one called Happily Married Man. Listen to those and we'll see why we're happy we ended up with Greg on vocals. Whew. Bible says make a joyful noise. Didn't say nothing about it being pretty.
It's because it's joyful for you doesn't mean it's joyful for everybody.
Oh man.
Keep that noise to yourself, sir.
So he would and like I said, Dwayne was doing lead vocals until he probably encouraged Greg into taking over vocal duties. They spend all their money on records and learn songs, learn the music, doing covers. A lot of us did that. A lot of us, even when I played the first song that I ever learned how to really play, and I still struggle with it. Of course, I hadn't really picked up the guitar in a little bit. I was having neuropathy problems, so I had to set everything down until I get the nerves working right in my hands. But was the song Melissa. And there's a story about the song Melissa where Greg wrote. It was the first song he ever wrote and kept. And He wrote it, and he had all the words down, but the title. And he would come down to that name. He goes, but back home in the woods run, the sweet Barbara had to be a 3-syllable name. He couldn't. He had it. It was. He just couldn't think of it. Barbara or whatever. And he was in I think I said this before, but he was in a grocery store late one night, and this Spanish lady had this toddler. It was her granddaughter. The little girl was running around crazy, and she hollered out her name, and it was Melissa. And Greg had been working on that song for a little bit of time. He'd set it down and come back to it, and he'd write some more and set it down. And that night he just took a break. It was his turn to go get groceries, coffee, bread, milk, eggs, whatever. And Melissa. And Greg goes, "Oh, God."
How'd that go?
What? Melissa. Melissa. There it is, folks. I just got canceled. Can't cancel me. I don't get paid for this. That's what we ought to do. Start a whole...
I'm not a part of your culture.
That's right.
I'm a Gen Xer. I'll just change
Start
my name
podcast.
Become somebody else.
Call it non-cancel or uncanceled or uncultured.
Canceled undead.
Canceled, yeah. Failure to cancel. My lease up. Oh, God. So he heard the name, Melissa, and he went, "Oh,
that's it.
That's it.
Damn.
Lady, I could kiss you." So, and it was somebody that he admits this in another interview. He admitted that, he was like, Melissa is somebody I dreamt up. He said, I spent a lot of time by myself. I was very lonely, and it was just this, girl that he dreamt up. And so anyway, going back to him and Dwayne, they're always listening to WLAC out of Nashville, the Nashville R&B station. They would actually play the black artists. Now back, y'all got to remember, this is the 60s, different time, different place, all that. They had, after certain hours, they were, in the South. After certain hours, they would play certain records. He discovered Muddy Waters. So at this time, he's been exposed to Otis Redding, B.B. King, and Patti LaBelle, and Eddie Floyd, or Floyd Miles.
Floyd
sorry.
Miles. Yep.
Now he's being exposed to
and
Muddy
Jackie
Waters.
Wilson.
Did I skip Jackie Wilson?
Yeah, you left him out.
Oh man, I did. My bad.
He went to the B.B. King concert with Jackie Wilson.
Did he? Yeah. Yep. No, he went to the B.B. King concert with Jackie Wilson headlining alongside Otis Redding, B.B. King, and Patti LaBelle.
Yes.
So they developed this band called the Escorts, put this band together, the Escorts, and then that in turn ended up being Allman Joys, the first successful band, just a local successful band. They hit the road in the fall of '65, performing throughout the Southeast. The first show outside of Daytona was at the Stork Club in Mobile, Alabama. I've never been down to Mobile. They're booked for 22 weeks straight. Then they got booked at the Sahara Club, or Sahara, depends on where you're from, in Pensacola for several weeks. Greg regarded that time in Pensacola was a real turning point in my life. It was where we learned how to capture audiences, and that's where you learn stage presence. We served his first Vox keyboard, which you ever listen to Greg play just the organ, the keyboard? You hear it a lot heavy in Dreams, which I got a point here to make in just a second. You hear it. There's a song called Don't Need You No More. And you'll hear him playing it heavy in that. But he was a phenomenal keyboard player.
Mm-hmm.
So he got his keyboard, learned how to play it over the ensuing tour. By the next summer, they booked some time in the studio in Nashville, recorded several songs, aided by a plethora of drugs.
Mm-hmm. Nah, really? In the 60s? Nah.
These recordings were later released as Early Allman in 73. To Allman's dismay, he soon grew tired of performing covers and began writing original compositions. Found a way in St. Louis, Missouri. I don't know why, but in the spring of 67, began performing alongside Johnny Sandlin and Paul Hornsby, among other various names. And they considered breaking up. But the manager of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Bill McEwen, convinced them to stay together and go to L.A. Now, it was out in L.A. is when they tried to turn the Allman Joys into the pop band. They renamed the band Hourglass. And he arranged a recording contract with Liberty Records. So it went from Almond Joys to Hourglass, which I have an Almond Joy shirt somewhere. I don't know where, but it's here somewhere.
The original?
No. It's a remake.
That would be worth some money.
They consider themselves, well, they were very frustrated. They said the music had no life to it. It was real pop sounding. Like I said before, they were the record executives back then were trying to make them into a pop band. You know, the Beatles along that or the Beatles, the Monkees, the all the other 60s, whatever you think of the 60s pop music.
The Animals.
They were trying to turn them. Yeah, the Animals, that's another one. They were trying to turn them into that. And the brothers, especially Greg, this music has no life to it, has no soul. It's pre-programmed shit. In the words of Allman. They consider themselves sellouts, and at the same time, they needed money to live.
Gotta pay the bills.
Yeah, man. We hungry.
$20 with $20.
You need a new guitar? What's up?
I got amps.
I got amps
going
for
dark.
days. Got a bass.
Got a little bass in your voice.
So instead of opting to play, they decided to not play anything off of their debut album.
Mm-hmm.
Their song "The Power of Love" was off of their second album, Hourglass album. I've heard it. So
I'd rather not hear it again.
Oh, you'll hear it on one of those documentaries.
No, I won't.
So they weren't playing anything off their debut album that they released that October. Instead, they were playing the blues on their live shows. So Liberty, as per their contract, they were only allowed to play one performance a month. So instead of being out there every weekend and every Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, they were not. Maybe once a month, a gig or something like that. And then they come out with Power of Love, which released in March of '68. Had more original songs, but still felt more restricted by the process. They broke up when Dwayne explicitly told off the executives at Liberty, and they threatened to freeze the band so that they would be unable to record at any other label for 7 years. Greg stayed behind to appease the label, giving them the rights to a solo album, which from what I remember hearing the stories that Greg kind of, come on, let's just get this thing over with. Let me appease this whole contract so I can get the hell on somewhere. Let me do all this shit for you so you can leave me the hell alone. The rest of the band, they gave him shit about it. Told him he was too scared to leave, but he was trying to at least do the right thing. I'm staying behind so you guys can just go ahead. So he finished up there. Dwayne and Hornsby and Johnny Sandlin and them went ahead. This is about the time that Dwayne, y'all know part of that story where Dwayne is over in Fame at Muscle Shoals Studios, and that's when he starts putting the Allman Brothers band together. So with his deal fulfilled at Liberty, he drives straight to Jacksonville, March of '69, to join with a new band. And he called the birth of the group one of the 500 days of my life. I was just starting to feel like I belonged to something again. Now, at this point, what am I? Okay. At this point, Dwayne he got JMO. JMO had played with Otis Redding in his band before Otis Redding died. Phil Walden sent JMO to Muscle Shoals to go meet up with Dwayne. And then Dwayne and JMO go down to Jacksonville and down the Daytona Beach area. And he gets Barry Oakley and Dickie Betts and Butch Trucks they had a band at the time called the 31st of February or the Second Coming. One of those.
Whichever comes last.
Yeah. So he gets all that rounded up, and they're all hanging out in Daytona Beach or Jacksonville, and that's when Dwayne calls Greg and says, "Get over here. We got to get this. We got this. You need to get over here and wrap this whole thing up, send it somewhere." JMO tells a story that Dwayne had everything. The only person he could think of, he thought that Greg was a womanizer and a few other things. All the things that my brother is, he's the only person I know that can sing in this band. And then Greg would tell you, well, through everything, you're the last one I thought of. You were it. But I like the story that, hey, man, you need to get over here. You're the only one I could think of that can finish this thing up. I like to go with a nicer story. It sounds cooler. It sounds like a brother's really looking out for his little brother. You know what I mean?
It was more neutral.
But Greg would actually say that he was almost down to, before he got that phone call from Dwayne, that he was contemplating. He was over in California. they're seriously contemplating suicide. He said that whole California, LA area, especially for a Southern boy, he said that place will drive you to drinking. Somebody came home. She knows somebody walked in. Did y'all hear?
Yeah, I just got quiet so I can spend some time with him.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, Greg was over there, he was having some dark thoughts, man. I mean, everybody's been there, right? You're in this, you're very lonely. You're in this point in life, where it can turn bad or worse, or you don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. I get it. Who hasn't been there? Right. But with that being said, I'm just going to throw this out here. Anybody listening to this right here, right now, if you're down to that point and everybody's been in that dark place, call me. If you got to pick up the Facebook thing and use a Facebook messenger to call me. As much as stuff that I'm going through right now in my personal life, believe me, I know you can get through it. Ain't nothing. There's no sense in trying to clock out early. Or for the military and law enforcement, especially law enforcement and EMS first responders, there's no reason to go 10:42 before it's time. Anyway, so Dwayne gets everybody together and they move all to Macon, Georgia. It forges a strong brotherhood, spending countless hours rehearsing, consuming psychedelics, and hanging out in Rose Hill Cemetery, which I just posted a video earlier about that. He would say, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have my way with a lady or two down there. I guess he's talking about Rose Hill Cemetery. In addition, which I wouldn't, I was down there earlier, and I remember I wasn't going to say that earlier in my live recording while I was there, but it's funny that I read it here. That did come to mind. So now we have Greg Allman on vocals and on the organ. Dwayne and Dickie Betts on guitar, Barry Oakley on bass, J-Mo and Butch Trucks on drums. So 2 whole sets of drummers, 2 guitar players, and him on the organ and vocals. They remade old blues numbers like Trouble No More and One Way Out. Improvising jams. They would go down to Rose Hill Cemetery where it's peaceful and quiet and write songs like In Memory of Elizabeth Reed and Little Martha. If you have never heard those 2 songs, those 2 are in itself are just beautiful instrumentals, especially if you got 20 minutes or so like that to drive and you don't want to talk, you just want to hear some music without any words. Go check those songs out.
Yep.
Which I just posted those on the screen there. I mean, some real just music, beautiful, just music.
Just jam music. It's just chill.
Man.
Yeah.
Trouble No More is another one.
That's Southern meditation music.
Greg, who had struggled to write songs in the past, became the main songwriter. The songs is Whipping Post and Midnight Rider. Their debut album was in November of '69 through Atco and Capricorn Records. their second album, so Out of Wild South, kind of bit the dust too, but they didn't get disheartened. Not even frustrated. They were like, okay, well, we need to
keep writing.
What do we need to do?
Yep, keep writing. Keep recording. That didn't work. Try something different.
Yeah, keep going. And then Dwayne comes up with this awesome idea. Says, you know what? We need to do a live album. You know, I mean, this is a band that would go sit up out in Piedmont Park in Atlanta and do a live concert for free. They'd be down there. They call it something else now, but Central City Park. Anywhere they'd find an outlet, a plug where they could set up and jam, and they'd do it. So it became the people's band, you know. So that's why even then they said, well, we're going to do this live album. We're going to specially price a double live album. I have it over there in my case. Live at Fillmore East, one of the best live rock and roll albums.
It's one of the only ones I can listen to.
Yeah.
I can't listen to a lot of live stuff. It's boring to me. But that you really get sucked into that.
And some of them, like live Whip and Post live, I mean, they took a standard radio version song and they extended it out. Whip and Post, 12 minutes long.
Yep.
You know, there's a song on that vinyl itself called Mountain Jam. And it's 32 minutes long. And it's live. I'm not saying that they didn't have a little electric enhancement. You know, maybe
some herbal enhancement.
Yeah,
it definitely had some herbal enhancement. Play one song for 32 minutes. You're out there.
He said, matter of fact, there it is. They said in this article, it says, the fortunes began to change over the course of 1971. The band's average earnings doubled. We realized the audience was a big part of what we did, which couldn't be duplicated in a studio. A light bulb finally went off, and we needed to make a live album. So they go up to Fillmore East at Bill Graham's Fillmore East. And there is a Fillmore West. There was a Fillmore West. There is a Fillmore West album. It's pretty good too. Different arrangements, different timing, different songs a little bit, but it's still, you know. So Fillmore East peaked at number 13 on Billboard's Top Pop Albums chart back in 1971. Certified gold by Recording Industry Association of America that October. So by October 71, they certified gold. Released in July. So within 3 months, boom, shot up to gold. Because now they're realizing, you know, we are a people's band. You know, you talk about an eclectic, you know, and me witnessing this for myself, I will honestly say this. If you know the history about the brothers and the biker scene and all that, I ain't got to get in the weeds as far as that goes. But if you've ever been to a concert that had variety of people, where now and nowadays, even their sons, the Allman family reunion, which is Dickie Betts' kid and Barry Oakley's son and Greg's son. So you got those three. Dwayne had a daughter, Galadriel. She's not very musically inclined. But she's a good writer. I got her book. Actually, I got a signed copy of it over there. It was pretty cool to meet her. Anyway, but the crowd in that concert, man, we're talking about like you got old hippies and rednecks and bikers and, you know, just regular whatever people. And and all colors from all, we're talking about what, three generations back now, with even my kids, me, my folks, their folks. That's 4 generations. I took my boys up to a couple concerts up at the big house. So it was pretty cool. So where we're sitting around, you got, like I said, bikers partying next to some old hippies. And then you got some good old boys over here, and it's just a mixture of people from different walks of life. And they're all listening to the same songs, man. You don't see that much. So we all know, although suddenly very wealthy and successful, much of the band and its entourage now struggled with substance abuse, addiction, and numerous drugs. They all agreed to quit heroin, but cocaine remained the problem. His last conversation with his brother was an argument over cocaine. Greg had took some of his brother's supply and later denied it when he was accused. In his memoir, My Cross to Bear, which I highly suggest at least going, there is somebody reading that. I think it's on Spotify. Will Patton. It's one of those guys. When you see him, you're like, hey, I know that guy. He actually reads My Cross to Bear out loud, like an audiobook.
Can you go out?
In his memoir, My Cross to Bear, Greg wrote, I have thought of that lie every day of my life. I told him that lie, and he told me that he was sorry and that he loved me. So, Dwayne was killed in a motorcycle accident October 29th, 1971 in Macon. At his funeral, Greg performed the song Melissa, which was Dwayne's favorite song. He said, I tried to play and I tried to sing, but I didn't do too much writing. In the days and weeks that followed, I wondered if I'd ever find the passion, the energy, the love of making music. As the band took some time apart to process their loss, at Fillmore East became a major success domestically. We had been trying to do for all those years. What we've been trying to do for all those years finally happened, and he was gone. He later expanded upon his brother's passing in his memoir. When I got over being angry, I prayed to him to forgive me, and I realized that my brother had a blast. Not that I got over it. I still ain't got over it. I don't know what getting over it means, really. I don't stand around crying anymore, but I think about him every day of my life. Maybe a lot of my learning how to grieve was that I had to grow up a little bit and realize that death is just a part of life. Now I can talk to my brother in the morning and he answers me at night. I've opened myself to his death and accepted it. And I think that's the grieving process at work. So that's just a few excerpts from his book. I actually have his, yeah. So later on, they released Eat a Peach. He married Sharon in June of 1975. They lived in Hollywood, but, there again, Greg's a Southern boy. They had a son, Elijah Blue. He released in the last few days of I think they released Eat a Peach after Dwayne's death. I know I jumped to 1975, my bad. And then they released Brothers and Sisters. So Dwayne died, and in the midst of Brothers and Sisters being released, Barry Oakley passes away. Lamar Williams takes his place on bass. And Chuck Leavell, who later goes to play with the Rolling Stones, they get Chuck Leavell to play piano. And then they, on Brothers and Sisters album, was released that had Ramblin' Man, which shot the band up another, suddenly now that's big. That's their biggest hit. And now that's Southern rock. They were making $100,000 per show. He began a relationship with Cher, which made him more famous for being famous than for his music. He really didn't like that. He was just used to just the quietness of the band playing. They'll play shows. They go down the road, go to the next place. They play. They do their songs. They do their set. They meet some folks. They go on down to the next place. Lather, rinse, repeat. They meet Cher, which previously was married to Sonny Bono. They have a kid together, Elijah Blue, who was born in July 1976. And according to his book, that's about the time, I think, that the first time the brothers split up. He released his first solo album. I'm trying to find it in here, and I don't see it. Laid Back, there it is. Yeah, he recorded his album, released it, called Laid Back. The sessions for both albums, there's a lot of problems going on, obviously, because now we're down Dwayne and Barry Oakley, who started the band, and we got Lamar, which J-Mo brought Lamar in. J-Mo went to school with him back home in Mississippi. I didn't have a problem with Lamar. It's just changes. People struggle when it comes to changes. Everybody does. We kept touring and kept playing arenas and stadiums. The group was still dealing with miscommunications, spiraling drug problems, and in 1974, the band was regularly making $100,000 per show. They're renting the Starship, a customized Boeing 720B used by Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones. And when we got that plane, I ain't going to say that part, but when it was the beginning of the end. Band member relationships increasingly frustrated, amplified by heavy drug and alcohol abuse. In 1975, Allman began a relationship with Cher. Obviously, they get married, have Elijah Blue. I said that before. He goes through rehab. The band splits up. They get reunited in 1978. I think that him and Cher divorce in 1978 as well. So much of the 80s, there was no Allman Brothers band during the big part of the 80s. It was just him. He didn't consider himself washed up, but he did keep a fear of everybody forgetting about him. Southern rock had faded from view, and the electronic music formed much of the pop music of the decade. There was hardly anybody playing live music, and those who did were doing it for not much money. In front of some diehard old hippies and real small clubs. Nevertheless, he reformed the Greg Allman Band and toured nationwide. At one point, he attempted to reconnect with his children, though, according to him, it just wasn't a good situation. So we're talking about a man also, and we'll kind of fast forward because I know there's a lot to cover. There's a lot more to cover. His personal life. So reforming the band, they get back together, and I think it was 91, and they released the Shades of Two Worlds, which in my book, oh man. Yeah, so he released his 80s album, 1987, I'm No Angel. Just Before the Bullets Fly. In 89, the Allman Brothers Band celebrated its 20th anniversary in 89, and they were reunited once more for the summer tour with J-Mo again on drums, featured guitarist Warren Haynes that he plucked from David Allan Coe's band, and Johnny Neal, both from Dickie Betts' band. I thought he got Warren Haynes from. I know that Warren Haynes had played with David Allan Coe at once, so I didn't know that Warren had played with Dickie's band at that time. So
Never
they
heard of
released, yeah. The band returned to the studio with Tom Dowd. Now, Tom Dowd was the genius behind Derek and the Dominoes and Layla and Assorted Love Songs. That's where, that album came from. So they're down there and record in Criteria Studios, and when they released the album Seven Turns, and it kind of, they consider it return to form. Finally the Allman Brothers sound is back. If you go back and listen to Seven Turns, beautiful, great song. Good Clean Fun is a high energy song. Seven Turns also became the big hits. With addition of Alan Woody on bass. Said he felt like he had his fan base all over again. Word of mouth and the good music, and how good the music was. Dang, I can't talk. And they started to come back. I know the Shades of Two Worlds in 92, Where It All Began in 93. Yeah. He had a youngest daughter, Layla Brooklyn Allman, was born when he was out in California.
Black Burner.
Yeah. The band was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995. Allman was severely inebriated. Who's inebriated?
I'm not inebriated.
I'm not as stinky as you drunk I am.
100.
So, and you can go back and watch this. It's kind of rough, but severely inebriated. You can barely make it through his acceptance speech. Seeing the ceremony broadcast on television later, he said he was mortified and appalled at himself. That was a final catalyst for his most successful attempt to quit alcohol and substance abuse. He hired 2 in-home nurses that switched 12-hour shifts to help him through the process. He was immensely happy to finally quit alcohol. Did I get any positive thing out of all that? And you've got to admit it yourself. No, I didn't. You can see what happened, and that by the grace of God, you finally quit before it killed you. Because, I don't know what it's like to be on drugs. The worst I've ever done was smoke weed. I didn't get too impressed by it. And if truth be told, I get paranoid. Turtle can attest to that. When I had COVID, I tried. That was dumb. When I had COVID
it was funny for me.
Yeah, thought, maybe I'll feel better if I. Anyway, sometime during the 80s, I know he got in some legal trouble with drugs, and
I mean, he did several times.
And the federal government, but it's not in here. I know it's in his book.
Yeah.
And in My Cross to Bear, he wrote, "Every woman I've ever had a relationship with that has loved me for who they thought I was." At the time of this writing, he noted he only spoke to 2 out of his then 6 ex-wives. Wow.
Yeah, he had a couple.
Including Cher.
Yeah.
He has 5 children, 3 with various wives and 2 with the other 2 with other women he had obviously relationship with. Michael Allman was born July 3rd, 66. Devin Allman, born in 72. Elijah Blue, 76. Delilah Island Allman. Say that 3 times fast.
Delilah Island.
Delilah Island. Delilah Island. Delilah Island.
No. Too many syllables too close together.
Right.
I'm not.
She was born in 80. Layla Brooklyn Allman was born in 93. Allman was
93?
In 93.
Good Lord.
So she's what, 31 now? Huh?
Young.
Allman was averse to organized religion for many years, but claimed he always believed in God. Following his health ailments in the later stage of his life, he came around to his own form of Christianity and began wearing a cross necklace. In his memoir, he stated, "As long as you have spirituality, you're never alone." It's sort of like my mother said all those years ago. Now I have my own kind of faith, just like other people. They take what they want of faith and they leave the rest alone. And I do the same. That's the way it should be. He credited his 6th wife, Stacy Fountain, for helping him, his widow. I think Stacy was his final widow, with helping him increase his faith. You know, we all come to those moments in time in life. I believe that you come to a certain point of faith, whatever you believe. You know where I stand. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ died for my sins. I'm not gonna hate anybody for what if they don't agree with that. Cool, man. That's your thing. Don't hate from me. Don't hate on me for mine.
All praise, leftover pizza and cold beer.
I mean, if you want to pray to a bowl of spaghetti, whatever. That's your thing. Now, just little highlights, that if it wasn't for the Allman Brothers Band and Leonard Skinner, a few Southern rockers, Charlie Daniels Band as well, Marshall Tucker Band, they wouldn't have got President Jimmy Carter. He was real close to Jimmy Carter there for a little while. I think I've heard Greg in frustration say, well, it was, "I'll kiss your ass until I get elected and then you can kiss mine." But I think they became friends again later on. And, Jimmy Carter's still alive, Greg, however, he's, with the delusion, after the delusion of the Allman Brothers Band, he kept busy. The Allman Brothers Band dissolved in 2014. Greg Allman Live, Back to Macon, Georgia in 2015 was one of his finals. I was there. I was at that recording. I was there when they recorded that. It was really cool. In 2016, he received an honorary doctorate from the Mercer University in Macon, Georgia, presented by former President Jimmy Carter. However, his health problems remained. He had atrial fibrillation, and though he kept it private, his liver cancer had returned. He kept it very private. I remember when the news broke that he was in hospice care, I was like, well, it ain't going to be too much longer now. I was at work, and shall we go with the unnamed dealership that I was working for? They wouldn't let me off for the funeral. Yeah. Passed away at his home, Richmond Hill, Georgia, May 27, 2017, due to complications of liver cancer at the age of 69. His funeral took place Snow's Memorial. Dickie Betts was there. Cher was there. Jimmy Carter. All of the remaining Allman Brothers members.
And family.
The mourners dressed casually in jeans per his request, and hundreds of fans. You can actually go over YouTube and check those. There's videos of the whole funeral procession coming through Macon.
Yep.
Yeah. People wearing, Allman Brothers shirts and listening to the band's music as they lined the route along the funeral procession. He was buried at Rose Hill Cemetery, which y'all saw that in my video earlier today. He's buried next to his brother Dwayne and Barry Oakley, and later on interned as well. Which Butch Trucks was, his ashes were laid there as well next to Greg. His before his death, his last album, Southern Blood, with the producer Don Was, at Fame Recording Studios in Muscle Shoals, was released September 8th, 2017. So,
you got that one yet?
Yes.
Got it on vinyl?
No, I don't have it on vinyl. I have it on digital. On this, matter of fact, this very same laptop.
You get it on vinyl?
No, I think I have it in my Google Drive.
Yay.
So it's there forever. So there it is, folks. Yeah, you're going to hack Google and just steal my Southern Blood album. Oh, my God. But yeah, everybody, please go up there to the Big House Museum. Check that place out. Come to Macon, Georgia. Let me know if you can come. I'll come hang out with you. I'll take you out on the tour. But yeah, very happy birthday to Gregory Lenoir Allman. Very happy birthday to Frank Cicelese and Miss Emily. Uncle Bosco says happy birthday and love you. And that's all I got. You got anything else?
Love, peace, chicken grease.
You gonna do our ad read?
No, you can do it.
Oh, man.
Can't read it. My computer screen's too far away.
Yeah, yours is.
All three of them. 4 of them. You do yours.
Huh?
You do yours.
Well, as everybody knows, we know a lot of speaking of December 7th and veterans, our friends up there, and it's cutting it close. There's a few more days till the raffle is over with Operation Tackle Box. Y'all send in your donations, send in your raffle donations for the XP1000. See how that was right off of memory too, huh? Think about that.
Yep. I'm sharing the screen,
2023. Yeah, I just now pulled it up. The 2023 XP1000. Bam. Laha. There it is. No, it's not.
Laha.
Hang on. There we go. The 2023 Polaris Ranger XP 1000. The last day of the raffle is December 20th. Then they'll host a big event later at a later date and announce the winner.
Yep.
But all proceeds go to Operation Tackle Box, Healing Through Reeling, combat veterans helping combat veterans. Find them on Facebook, Operation Tackle Box, Instagram, Operation_Tackle_Box. Go on their website, operationtacklebox.org. Click on the buy tickets here, buy your raffle tickets. They're a family owner operated team. We focus full time on planning out fishing expeditions for the veterans. Full plans for helping veterans get what they need. GI Bill, VA claims, absolutely anything and everything they can do, they will do. Any veterans out there suffering from anxiety, PTSD, the struggles of war is real. And you can go on here. So, yeah, help the veterans out. Regardless of what some idiot up there in DC says, they don't get enough help. Why fishing? As a combat veteran, I too suffer from PTSD, and fishing and being on the water has helped me more than anything else. I want to share that feeling with other veterans in need. Being on the water to me is a time where I'm not looking over my shoulder or worried about what's happening around me. The calm of the water and the distance between me and the land, there's truly nothing like it. But yeah, y'all go in there and check out t-shirts, hats, long sleeves, short sleeves, outerwear, hoodies. That hoodie looks cool. The jackets. I actually want to look at this hoodie. Huh? For men, women. Really?
Yeah, it froze it because I switched pages. I went to their shop page.
Let's see. I'm gonna put this into the chat. Copy. Paste. Bam. This will also be in the show notes. OperationTackleBox.org.
Yep.
Let's see.
Lots of pages, lots of stuffs. That's just some of it. I'm not going to go through all of it. This is their shop. Lovely little place.
And the other one's fentanylfoundation.org or Foundation Sentinel. Yeah. Foundationsentinel.org. Is right there. Here we are. Bringing the fight to those who exploit the helpless. Sex trafficking, child trafficking, crisis response. They're up there still putting in the good work up there at Western North Carolina, along with other amazing foundations who are out there helping out. The temperature is getting ready to drop even more. Is going up and down here in Middle Georgia. I can't imagine what they're dealing with up there in Western North Carolina. From what I understand, Tansy and the guys up there are working hard. They're putting up these little yurt tents, putting some work ins for these people, so they'll have some kind of privacy and some kind of closure, portable heaters and things like that. So these folks will have somewhere to live and they don't have to worry about things. At least it's something they don't have to worry about for a little bit. Their mission, counter trafficking, you go on there to donate them as well. FoundationSentinel.org. Also, and going back to OperationTackleBox.com or .org. Sorry, I was reading something else. .com. Yep, going and pick you out some super sweet merch, t-shirts. There's ladies, men's, kids, jackets, hoodies. I guess Turtle went through the whole thing earlier. But yeah, go check those folks out. Give them some help. Our veterans need help. And the citizens and victims of Hurricane Helene, they all need help as well. What you got? Anything for next week? Or do we know yet?
I can't think of anything that's going on next week.
All I'm gonna do is work, get this house ready to get it put on the market the following week. That's what I'm doing after work every day this week. Cleaning, boxing, arranging stuff, and getting it ready to put on the market and get on. Well, all right. We will see y'all here in 7 days. Be here. I hope to see y'all in the chats next week. Yeah, until then, please go check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, and YouTube Live every week right here. Shoot me a message at foreverroadpodcast@gmail.com. Shoot me a message on Facebook. Let me know what you want to hear. Y'all got a certain topic or automotive topic or even mystery or story, whatever y'all want us to talk about. We'll do the research and we'll talk about it. Till next go around, anything? Any jokes? Nothing?
You're watching
it. Everybody else, as always, the road goes on forever. I love y'all. Peace.
Thanks for riding with us on the Forever Road podcast with Bosco. Hey, you can find and follow us at Instagram and Facebook, or just drop us a line or a question anytime at foreverroadpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time on the Forever Road podcast.